for somebody actually wanting to let go a bit more of control, or this desire that to have this very hard, productive mindset is going to have a happy, successful life, what are the 3 things, or where should people start on this concept to have this kind of more calmer life that isn't so task focused all the time and letting go into that insecure overachiever? What are the couple of things that people could do?
I mean, I'll offer one thought and then I will offer another thought that kind of opposes the question in a way, because I think it's useful. But so I think one thing that I think has been a really important thing for me is what I think of as morning pages, but really any kind of journaling, any kind of free form journaling. So I'm talking about spending 30, 40 minutes almost every morning writing 3 sides of a narrow ruled, people always want to know the details, 3 sides of a narrow ruled hardback notebook, but none of that is important. The important part is that you put some kind of temporal frame around it and just write freely in that time for no audience other than yourself. And for me, that is a powerful way to sort of ease into some of these ways of thinking and being. The jury is out in my mind as to how far that is a sort of a path to embodiment, given that it is sort of inherently language-based and thought-based. But I do think that there's something very powerful about just saying to yourself, I'm going to write without stopping, not super fast or anything, but just, I'm not going to only write something when I know what it is I want to write. I'm just going to let the pen move and see what comes. And that is in itself, obviously, if you do it, well, even if you type it, but especially if you do it longhand, I think that is a practice that is sort of physical as much as it is anything else. And I've found that really useful. However, I think that there is also, this is the second part of my answer, there is a temptation to be like, okay, this sounds useful and interesting. So what are the habits that I need to develop in order to be like that? And part of what I'm taking aim at in a way is that whole attitude that says, what are the habits that I first need to put in place before I can be more sort of fully absorbed and enlivened by my own life? And that can very easily lead right back into the same problem of like, well, okay, for the next few months, I'm going to work on like becoming this and meditating every day. And then finally, maybe I'll be allowed to just sort of enjoy life. So what I always say instead is like, the thing that you should do is, identify something in your life that in your heart you want to have more of in your life. So it could be a aspect of your work that you want to focus on more. It could be a creative project or a hobby. It could be a relationship you would like to be nurturing but you haven't been doing. It could be a recreational activity. And just actually do 10 minutes of that today. Like actually sweep away all this kind of like, what am I going to put in place so that I can do these things? And just do that thing, however badly, however unconfidently, with however little certainty that you're ever going to come back and do it again, right? Not once today and then every day for the rest of your life, but just once. And I think there's something in that willingness to just let yourself go on a run, let yourself look up an old friend, let yourself do some drawing. Whatever. I'm just picking examples at random, without it being part of some big new project of life transformation, but just doing it today, or, if you're listening or watching late at night, then tomorrow is okay, but not in 3 weeks' time. And if that means putting something else to one side, then that's what it means. And if it means you can only afford to do it for 10 minutes because of all the other things you've got to do, then fine. It's like constantly bringing down that standard that needs to be met in order to let yourself do something that makes you feel more alive.
That reminds me of a friend actually that said to me last week, she was an avid reader and she had stopped reading. So she made a promise to herself that every day for 10 minutes, I'm just going to read a book. Just 10 minutes. That's all I'm going to do. Doesn't matter where I am, but I want to just read a book. And that was one thing that she wanted to do. So she started just with 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's great. And the only thing I would say that is in any way objecting to it is like, if that even feels like too much, forget the every day. It's like 10 minutes today. Don't worry if there's another, and then you might find that you do it the next day and the next day and the next day. Great. But like, even that bar you don't have to reach. You have to read for 10 minutes once. And then you have spent 10 minutes of your finite time on the planet doing something that you love, and that matters in and of itself.
Well, you hope that because you get joy from it, you're going to want to do it
Exactly.
more often.
The secret, the sort of unspoken part is that you end up with a habit, but you're not needing to sort of force a habit into your life.
Yeah, of course. I guess that's made me think, actually, the more that you really enjoy something, you will put more time into it once you start making space for it. I think the worry here is that you'll do something because you think you should be doing it, whether it's going to progress you into another stage of your career or progress you into something. You're integrating that into your life because you think you should be doing it, as opposed that it's actually giving you happiness to do it.
Yeah. And it's going to work better anyway for those instrumental goals. It's going to work better for those if you are really enjoying it anyway.